that profits were more important than the well-being of their customers. Men who train their salesmen to think of three things: commissions, commissions, and more commissions.
I made it to the top, and I'm never going back. Got to live it up, live it up.
For more than 125 years, Metropolitan Life has been a respected name in life insurance. Generations of families grew up trusting in putting their financial futures in the hands of their neighborhood MetLife agent.
My folks took a policy out on me about 1920, and I've been with Metropolitan all my life.
In 1986, Marvin Bright says a MetLife agent told him he would have life insurance till he died if he paid $5,200 in 2 old whole life policies and put that money into a new MetLife Universal or flexible premium policy.
So the way this is set up, there's only one way you could collect on this policy.
That's for me to die between now and 1998. That would be the only way to collect on it.
Marvin says he could trust MetLife in the old days, but things have changed. Insurance investigator and former MetLife agent Mark Colbert says Metropolitan went from a family-oriented company to a big business machine in the 1980s.
Now they're more sell. We have to be prudential. We don't care what it takes.
How could Metropolitan's 100 years of respectability evolve into a nightmare? News reports of MetLife's abusive sales tactics in Florida and Pennsylvania have been devastating for its image. We wanted to know where the sales techniques came from that were given to the agents operating at the 1,000 MetLife offices across the country. We asked former MetLife agent John Steele who was responsible for teaching him MetLife's corporate sales philosophy.
The manager, the branch manager, would provide instruction in the branch.
Any idea who was that at the time when you?
Dave Mortera. Mortera answered to a regional manager, and his name was Keith Ferris.
Mm-hmm. Any idea who was above Ferris?
Okay, above Keith Ferris was, I believe it was Tony Canatella. Mm-hmm. As far as I knew, the only one above Tony was God. But
John Steele is referring to Robert Crimmins, who was MetLife's executive vice president.
I was a messenger with bad news to tell.
Crimmins knows this man, Crosby Engel. His job, to find any abuses by the 14,000 MetLife agents nationwide and report those abuses to the top MetLife executives in New York. But Engel says when he identified serious abuses by the agents, the powers that be at MetLife were in a state of denial.
My warnings, my concerns were falling on deaf ears, and my general feeling was they did not want to hear the bad news.
Engel says he was forced into early retirement by MetLife, apparently for doing his job too well. Engel may be right because many policyholders say they were cheated by MetLife while Engel was investigating in the late 80s and early 90s. Charles Kavitsky was MetLife's former officer in charge of the Mid-Eastern Territory. He says he was forced out in 1993 for complaining about Crimmins' sales policies. Kavitsky, in a wrongful termination suit, charges that Crimmins eliminated incentives that minimized deceptive and fraudulent sales practices by MetLife's sales representatives and managers. He stated that the reason was to increase MetLife's sales and profits.
But as Ted said, the first thing that entered our minds was doing what is right.
But John Steele says some policyholders were trampled in MetLife's drive for profits.
The person doing the buying's interest perhaps could be compromised in situations. You know, I couldn't pretend like this is a perfect world.
Several policyholders who have filed complaints to the company have received a letter from Metropolitan Life's regional headquarters based here in San Ramon. The letter states, it doesn't matter what the agent said during the time of the sale, all that matters is the information contained within the policy.
For the best deals in town,
Doug and Carolyn Perry of Chowchilla received that letter after they complained about 2 of their policies written by John Steele.
Very upset that a reputable business can come in and take charge of that. I mean, we're not the only one. We've talked to a lot of people that have been taken by the same people.
I would just like Metropolitan to, which I wrote and asked, to give me what I was told I would have, security. And I got a letter back and telling me that it's just not going to happen.
And that's the key, what MetLife agents told them they would have. Many MetLife policyholders say there's a big difference between what MetLife says it will give you and what you actually get. Elizabeth Smith says that's what happened to her. Now she wants her agent, John Steele, to pay.
Steele should go to jail. The sooner the better. And the whole MetLife should just be turned upside down. And all those wrong people that have been wrong, they should get their money back.
Now, if you have a question, anything, a problem, write to us. Please, we want to hear from you. Write to 47 On Your Side, P.O. Box 5455, Fresno, California, 93755. You can call us, and there's the phone number, 222-2414. And you will want to join us tomorrow night. Mrs. Smith there brought up an interesting point. What's going to happen? What's going to happen to these people? So we will, tomorrow night in Part 4, we will talk about whether or not authorities are involved and what people can do to protect themselves.
Yeah, it sounds like a case for the State Insurance Commissioner.
Yeah,
Sure does, doesn't it? Yeah.
And if you have one of those policies, it's a good idea to go ahead and pull it out and look forward to tomorrow night's report.
You have to find it. That's the first step. Find the policy, dig it out, then give us a call.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks. Well, it's just the beginning of the legal proceedings for...
So are there any government agencies checking into these alleged abuses?
Yeah, there are state agencies here in California that are looking into the problem, and they're looking into one abuse in particular that we know of, at least that's what we've been reporting, is churning, and we've talked about that term. Just for those of you who may not know what that is, that's when you take one policy, the agent takes one policy and rolls it over into another policy, and it benefits the agent, not the policyholder. Yeah. MetLife executives have spent the last year focusing on damage control. Millions of dollars in fines in several states may sound like a lot, but it's nothing compared to the price MetLife is paying with policyholders who are losing faith in Mother Met.
We didn't expect it, but it will cost us $100 million when we get finished paying the fines and get finished with restitution.
MetLife produced this video during a trip to the Caribbean in 1994. It shows former Executive Vice President Robert Crimmins and current MetLife Chairman Harry Kamen answering questions from a MetLife agent.
In no way will dividends be impacted by this $100 million.
Ironically, the practice of churning by MetLife agents nationwide is never discussed in the video. That's surprising considering thousands of MetLife policyholders have been churning victims, according to insurance investigator and former MetLife agent Mark Colbert.
A lot of this is people that have had policies for 20 or 30 years. The cash value is taken out of a policy. Their premium is lowered dramatically. It is dumped into a new universal life policy. They're promised a free insurance plan. They're promised paid-up insurance.
And he says they don't get any of that. Colbert was fired by MetLife in 1994 for insubordination. He says that's Metropolitan's word for refusing to look the other way. Instead, Colbert found Andrew and Elizabeth Smith, who claimed they were lied to this way by their MetLife agent, John Steele.
Steele should go to jail. The sooner the better. And the whole MetLife should just be turned upside down.
Other upset MetLife policyholders say they want Metropolitan to be held responsible for its agents who write policies of deceit.
Sources close to the California Department of Insurance say the agency is conducting a full-scale investigation of Metropolitan Life and an unknown number of its current and former agents. According to Mark Colbert, he referred at least 40 people he considers victims to these offices here at the Department of Insurance, located at 45 Fremont Street in San Francisco.
We contacted officials inside to find out if they are investigating MetLife. A spokeswoman responded by saying, "I can neither confirm nor deny that there's an investigation going on." If the Department of Insurance is investigating MetLife, they may have to pack up and find a new headquarters in San Francisco. We found out the building at 45 Fremont Street, where the California Department of Insurance headquarters is located, is owned by MetLife.
It gives me a lot of opportunity.
Colbert says if authorities are investigating Metropolitan, they will be interested in how MetLife agents like John Steele are answering certain required questions on each policy. For example, there's a question that asks the agent if they're taking any money from another source to pay for the new policy. If the agent did...
This box needs to be marked yes. If it is marked no, there could be a very big problem with this one as well.
Colbert says the agent could be charged with a federal offense. We asked John Steele about some of his policies where the client says he rolled money into a new policy and marked the box no.
The purpose of this question is so Company A can notify Company B that there's replacement going on. The only way that would happen and where it wouldn't be an issue is if it was what we call an in-house roll.
Colbert says it's an issue with the Department of Insurance, and policyholders like Doug Perry say deception by MetLife agents is an issue to them.
In the future, if something happened to me, what does she do? I think I've been ripped off. The money that I had in there, supposedly to help me in my retirement, is not going to be there.
Now, the tragic part of all this, there could be thousands of other MetLife policyholders here in Central California who are victims, but they may not know it yet. Now, we've talked about a lot of information over the last 4 days, and life insurance can be complicated. And we have some pamphlets here from the California Department of Insurance that should be helpful, and what we suggest you write to us. There's some very important information in these pamphlets. Let's put up the address. If you have any questions about your policy, please try and find those policies. We've been saying that for 3 nights. There's the address, 47 On Your Side, P.O. Box 5455, Fresno, California, 93755. Now, if you want the pamphlet, please send us a self-addressed stamped envelope. You can also call us there if you have any questions.
Okay. We've seen a lot of examples of bad agents, but we should also say there are many, many good agents out there.
Yeah. In fact, a lot of those good agents helped us put this story together.
Yeah.
And really, every one of them told us that we understand what the problem may be, but it's as important to us to clean up this industry.
Get the bad apples out of there, huh?
Right, yeah. It's very important to them.
Excellent series.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Senseless crime.
Investigators for the California Department
Crime has claimed another innocent victim, this time in Visalia.
Our C.J. Ward has another door closed in his face. There's been some reaction to our exclusive investigation into life insurance fraud and MetLife. Details straight ahead in the Eyewitness News Hour.
Closed captioning for this 47 Eyewitness Newscast is sponsored by Continental Cablevision. You're watching KJEO Channel 47, and this is the Eyewitness News Hour with John Wallace, Julie Hogan, Gerard Moncure Sports, and meteorologist Doug Collins with weather.
Hello, and thanks for joining us tonight. Millions of dollars worth of deception. All week long during the Eyewitness News Hour, C.J. Ward and 47 On Your Side have been exposing deceptive practices involving Metropolitan Life Insurance agents.
And today, agents from the Department of Insurance raided the Modesto office of Metropolitan Life, 1 day after 47 On Your Side's exclusive investigative report, Policy of Deceit. And CJ joins us now.
It's amazing how quickly they worked on this. We uncovered things such as churning, which is a term we talked about for 4 days, where the agent takes a policy and rolls that over into another policy, and really the only person who benefits is the agent, that's right. Policy of Deceit exposed abusive sales practices by some Metropolitan Life agents locally and across the country.
You're not allowed on the premises at this point in time.
We're not allowed on the premises.
Thank you.
There's no way we can talk to Mr. Korea? This afternoon, agents from the Department of Insurance took over the Modesto Metropolitan Life office, taking over and sifting through boxes, examining their contents, but not saying exactly what they're looking for. However, sources say the Department of Insurance has received numerous complaints by policyholders claiming agents lied about the type of insurance they were getting. Branch manager of the Metropolitan Life office in Modesto, Lonnie Correa, refused to comment on today's surprise raid. In fact, as you can see, no one was really willing to talk to us today. And by the way, this office here is the one that John Steele, the gentleman, the MetLife agent that we focused on for a couple days, he was based out of that office. So we've had complaints about a couple agents, and John Steele really was the focus of that.
What about from viewers? Have you received, after all week of showing this, any calls from viewers?
We have we've had complaints from other viewers mentioning that they have fallen into this category, and we've moved them on to authorities, so that way they can probably get some help on this. But we will have an update on this on Monday, so join us then. We'll have some more details for you.